Hi everyone, my name is Anthony and welcome back to part 2 of this week's Virtual Lunch and Learn, where we discuss the importance of balancing your work, life, and technology, and how they influence you in spending your limited time. In part 1, we discussed the importance of time and how to track your usage of it. Here, we'll be discussing strategies to best make use of that time. Once you've had an opportunity to look at where your time goes as well as the impact of technology, you may see some things that you'd like to change. Let's talk about some practical strategies that can help you make the best possible use of the limited time that you have. When you take a closer look at where your time goes, you may find that you spend more time on certain tasks than you like. Perhaps if you look at your day, at work or at home, there are opportunities to use your time more effectively. That is where prioritization can help. Prioritization is a key strategy for managing your day-to-day flow of activity, both at work and at home. By prioritizing effectively, you may also find yourself with more time to focus on the things in life that matter most to you. How well do you really prioritize your daily tasks? Many of us have some room for opportunity, and you might have more control than you realize. As we said in the beginning, we all start each day with our 24-hour allotment. Since the day isn't going to get any longer, we need to figure out how to use that time as best we can. Fortunately, there are some simple steps you can take to prioritize your time in your day. First, write down everything that's on your plate. You may wish to have separate lists for home and work. This step helps you to see your overall inventory and starting point. How's it look? Is there more than you can handle today? Are there other things that are important to you that didn't make the list? Look at your list carefully and decide, are there any items you can simply decide not to do? If so, erase them. Are there any items you can delegate to someone else? Do you have a colleague who can take on a task for you? Can you ask family members to help with household chores? After crossing off items you can skip or delegate, prioritize the remaining items. Think about what is most important and what really needs to get done today. Rearrange your list in order of priority. Focus on the highest priority items first. When you get to the end of your day, use the list to help you create your list and to plan ahead for the next day's priorities and repeat the process. These steps help you to tackle the most urgent items first. What if you're trying to prioritize your tasks for the day, but everything feels urgent? While that feeling can certainly add to the challenge, there are some questions that may help. Ask yourself how important it is and how soon does it need to be addressed. Certain things will always rise to the top of the list. Here's an extreme example. If you're making dinner and your kitchen catches on fire, that situation is clearly important and urgent. There will be serious consequences if you don't take action now. On the flip side, you might really want to get the garage cleaned out, but it's probably not urgent, and even though it might be important to you, it may not be important as other things on the list. If it doesn't happen today, chances are the consequences would be minimal. Other items may fall in the middle. Answering an invitation for lunch with a friend today may be urgent. It won't apply if you don't get to it before lunch, but may be less important than other tasks. Sending an email to a coworker about a project might be important, but perhaps it could wait till tomorrow. Using these questions can help you sort your tasks into a priority order that makes sense. Related to that, ask yourself what you really need to accomplish each day, week, or month. Sometimes we make things urgent because we want to get them done, but in reality, they could wait and may not be all that important. For example, do you really need to clean your house every week? What would happen if it waited a little longer? Also, be flexible. Sometimes things come up that make it necessary to shift priorities. Having a list of your tasks can help you start your list for the next day, ensuring that you won't forget about anything that does need to get done. If you're really having trouble prioritizing and everything feels urgent, try these steps. Ask, does this have to be done today? Who or where is the pressure to get this done coming from? What happens if you don't get it done? Let go for a few minutes. Remind yourself that you're human, you're limited, and you're trying to do the impossible. You may need to let some things go, and it's your job to decide what. Take a few deep breaths to help you relax. Decide what you can realistically accomplish and what you must let go to another day. If the pressure to do something stems directly from your expectations of yourself, decide what is most critical to you. Otherwise, make the decision with others involved. Ask for more time as soon as you realize you need it. Your boss or anyone depending on you will be more receptive if you speak up early. Accept that there will be times when you can't accomplish everything you want to do. While this isn't easy, you have two choices. You can either feel frustrated about the things that aren't done, or you can choose to accept the situation and feel good about what you did accomplish in your limited time. Look to the future. If you find yourself in time crunches often, do you need to be more realistic about what you can take on? Do you need to say no more often? And do you need to ask for help? Sometimes talking through these challenges with a family member, friend, or colleague can help. In the meantime, try to plan well. Allow for things to come up. Assume each task may take longer than you think, and expect the unexpected. Schedule loosely. Having extra time on your hands and accomplishing a task with less stress in the allotted time can be a pleasant surprise. The whole goal of prioritization is to help you spend time on the things that are most important or really need to be taken care of. Once you have a time study of where your time is going and a list of your priorities, you have a great opportunity to look at how your time aligns. Are you spending time on the things that are truly the biggest priorities? Many people find that when they really take a close look, their biggest priorities and the activities where they spend the majority of their time do not line up. How much time do you find yourself spending on things that are less important or less urgent? For example, do you find that you spend a lot of time watching TV where you could be doing things that matter more to you? And based on what you learn, do you need to reprioritize? In addition to looking at how you spend your time and prioritizing your activities, there are many tips that can help you achieve balance. Our next few slides will cover many ideas. Here are some overarching tips that can be effective at home or work. First, commit to taking care of yourself. Eat well, sleep well, be active, and avoid tobacco. In addition, make time for activities that are rejuvenating, relaxing, and energizing for you. Whether it's a hobby, time with family, relaxation, or anything that helps you feel happy and manage stress, taking care of your own health and well-being first allows you to better take care of others and priorities in your life. Set healthy boundaries. This is especially important if you feel you are overwhelmed by too many commitments. Focusing on the things you have to do to get by, but eliminate things that are less essential. This might mean talking with your supervisor about priorities, turning down additional volunteer commitments, or turning your phone over to airplane mode to avoid receiving emails after a certain time in the evening. Setting appropriate limits can help you prevent from overcommitting to more than you can realistically take on. Reach out for support. Sometimes, talking through the challenges you're facing can really be helpful so you don't feel like you're going through them alone. Friends or family members may be facing similar struggles and might be able to offer ideas to overcome them. Be positive. This sounds simple, but it can often help you take challenges and situations into perspective. And ask for help. There may be times when you simply have more on your plate than you can handle on your own. If you're really struggling with balancing your life, speaking with a counselor can help. Sometimes the key to accomplishing important tasks is finding time in your day that isn't used to the fullest. Here are some simple strategies for making the best use of your 24 hours. Look for unused time in your day. For example, if you commute to work, enjoy a CD of language lessons, a book on tape, or music. If you're not doing the driving, read a book or plan the weekend. Schedule time for activities that matter to you. We schedule important things like doctor or dentist appointments, so why not do the same to fit in other important activities like a date night with your significant other or a fun activity with your child or friend. Eliminate time wasters. For example, if you spend a lot of time watching TV, could you use that time to fit in some basic exercises while you watch your favorite show? Bundle errands. Save errands that are in the same part of town for one day of the week or for times when you'll be passing through to help avoid extra trips. Be prepared for waits in the doctor's office or waiting for a bus or train. Carry something to do with you, such as a book to read or a notepad to write down your shopping list or meal plan. And make the most of your lunch break. Fit in a walk, errands, or some relaxation time. One of the things we talked about when it comes to prioritizing is asking for help and delegating tasks to others when you can. If you're not used to saying no or have a tendency to juggle too many tasks on your own, this can take some practice. Here are a few simple tips. Don't do others' work. This can include activities at work that are the responsibility of others or the chores of other family members. Hold others accountable for fulfilling their own responsibilities. Ask family members to help with tasks at home. Can someone else fold the laundry or take out the garbage? Sometimes we need help but simply haven't asked. Let others know how they can help out. If you delegate a task to someone else, you may need to learn to accept different results. For example, your child may not clean the bathroom as thoroughly as you'd like, but is that important, and can you accept it as good enough? If there really is too much to handle at home, another option might be hiring someone to help with cleaning, yard work, or home maintenance, if your budget allows. Here's some additional tips to help you achieve balance and keep your home running smoothly. Keep a record of the jobs that need to be done at home. Some jobs will be repeated regularly, such as cleaning the kitchen. Others, like raking leaves or planning a birthday party, will be seasonal. Others still, like replacing a broken window, may only happen once. Some people like to keep this record in a small notebook or card file. When your record shows that certain jobs need to be done, decide which ones have the highest priority and do them in order. Clean out closets, drawers, and the garage at least once a year. Get rid of things you no longer need. If you find things that would work better in a different location, move them. You'll save time by having things in the best spot and by not having to sift through things you no longer need. Organize keepsakes or things you might need someday and put them in labeled boxes for easy storage. File essential papers and keep the files sorted and thin. Avoid letting papers pile up anywhere in your home. If a piece of paper requires time-consuming action, like reviewing financial information, put that task on your home job records and put the paper in a folder. Otherwise, try to handle each piece of paper only once. Act on it, throw it out, or file it. Plan meals at least 1 week at a time and make a shopping list from your meal plan. Keep copies of a standard grocery list or one you've made yourself. Then just circle the things that you need each week. This can save both time and money. If possible, cook larger amounts and freeze the rest for quick meals in the future. We've talked a lot so far about how we spend our time, prioritizing, and many tips for making the most of the limited time that we have. All these are important strategies for achieving a healthy life balance and blend, but here's another aspect to consider. Are you fully present for each of those moments? Mindfulness is a concept that is often overlooked in our busy culture, but it's a key strategy for making the most of every moment of every day, no matter how each moment is spent. Let's explore what mindfulness is, its benefits, and how you can use simple mindfulness practices to help create balance in your life. Perhaps you've heard this quote before. Enjoy the little things in life because one day you'll look back and realize they were the big things. How many little moments are truly some of your most memorable ones? How we spend the 1,440 minutes of each day is what builds the story of our lives. Often, we get so absorbed in our day-to-day tasks and all of the things we need to get done that we forget to enjoy this moment, the one we're living in right now. Mindfulness is all about doing just that. The dictionary definition of mindful means to be bearing in mind, aware, or inclined to be aware. Mindfulness involves paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and even the world around you without judgment. It's natural for our minds to make judgments and to think through things, to solve problems, etc. That's why mindfulness is so different from what we usually do, and maybe a big part of why it has so many potential benefits. Mindfulness meditation and other practices are becoming more common as tools for health and well-being. Meditation is a great technique for a variety of potential benefits in a variety of areas within your life. How much time do you really spend living in the present moment? If you're like most people, probably not much, but that's what mindfulness can help you do. Mindfulness may help you be more productive and engaged in activities by letting you focus on the moment and the task at hand. For some, it contributes to life satisfaction. This may be because mindfulness allows you to live in the moment, truly experiencing the here and now. We tend to focus our energy and thoughts on past events or on planning for the future, whether it's our next meeting, tomorrow, or an event a year from now. Being mindful doesn't mean you should never think about the past or plan ahead. In fact, it may even be helpful for creating better balance in your life. Most of us are not fully mindful all the time. There are some definite barriers to mindfulness in our lives. So, what is it that gets in the way? Sometimes our day to day activities get in the way of being mindful. We get very used to following a routine of our day to day lives that we forget to be mindful of each of the things that we're doing. You may not really remember that drive to work each day or getting up and brushing your teeth each morning because you've done them so many times. You really don't need to think about them as much anymore. They become a habit. Mindfulness also requires effort and focus. Think about each little thing you do in your regular routine, getting dressed, making breakfast, driving to work, or other simple tasks throughout the day. If you had to expend a lot of energy and focus on each of those things, you would probably find yourself feeling exhausted. Our habits and routines tend to limit the focus we need to get through the day. In that respect, habits and routines can be a good thing. However, in the case of habits we want to break, mindfulness can be a helpful tool. Do you ever find yourself multitasking? Do you have from one task to another? This can be a huge barrier to mindfulness because multitasking doesn't allow you to focus in one place. It might mean that you're feeling like you're accomplishing more because you're trying to do several things at one time. But are you really being more productive? Living in a fast-paced world is another barrier. We live in a culture that values productivity, being on the go all the time, and being constantly connected through various forms of technology. All that has its benefits, but what do we sacrifice as a result? Do you know that multitasking is actually a computer term? Computers with only one processor or brain can't do multiple things at the same time, so they constantly switch back and forth between tasks. And as humans, we only have one brain. So what happens when we try to multitask? Here are some of its pitfalls. Multitasking is a barrier to mindfulness. When you look at the definition of mindfulness as being aware, and the definition of multitasking that we saw on the last slide, the two simply don't add up. It's next to impossible to do multiple things at once and live in the moment with full awareness of any given situation. In fact, studies show that in many cases, multitasking is less efficient and can actually require more energy and resources. It may also lead to mistakes. Here's a great example. Think about distracted driving. According to distraction.gov, reaching for a cell phone, dialing, or sending text messages while driving triples the risk of crashing. Studies also show that people who think they are good at multitasking are not when they are put to the test. That includes driving. The next time you find yourself frantically switching between tasks at home or at work and trying to cram as much into your 24 hours as you can, try to stop yourself and be mindful of the task in hand. See if you can notice the impact of trying that change. In reality, multitasking is something we commonly try to do. It often is a way we try to cope with stress, particularly around a lack of time, to try to squeeze in as much as possible. But instead of trying to multitask, can you focus on being mindful to the task in hand? For example, if you're in a meeting, can you really focus on that meeting rather than answering emails or text messages? Maybe your mind wanders sometimes during a conversation with another person. Can you challenge yourself to give that person your full attention to really connect to all that they are saying? Of course, no matter how much we wish we could avoid them, interruptions are a reality. But just because you're in the middle of something, that doesn't mean you have to shift gears or try to multitask all the time. In fact, in many cases, it may be best not to. Here are a few options that might help you handle an interruption more effectively. In some cases, it may make sense, or you may prefer to stop what you were doing and fully focus on the interruption. Turn your attention to handling the situation thoroughly and effectively. Focus on the issue at hand. Another option is to ask the person if you can get back to him or her later. Make a note of it so you remember, but can go back to focusing on your original task as much as possible. A third option is to refer the person to someone else who may be able to help him or her. Can a coworker help them out? Can your spouse or another family member handle the situation if you cannot? Another option is to spend a minute or two on the interruption, but then schedule time to dedicate your full attention to it later. If you know it's going to take time and concentration to handle the situation, this might be your best option. Then you can avoid trying to multitask, yet feel confident that you'll be able to devote the time to the interruption that needs to be handled appropriately. Finally, turn off online chat, email, and your phone ringer for blocks of time to allow you to focus on the task at hand without distractions. We covered a lot of ground today, but here's a quick summary. Time is a limited resource. Achieving balance and the right blend of activities in our life is connected to our choices and how we use our time and taking steps to use it wisely. Simple steps can help with time management and prioritization. Mindfulness strategies can help you live in the moment and make the most out of your limited time each day, helping you achieve better balance. We discussed many ideas today to help you work towards a better blend of activities in your life, prioritize what matters to you, and practice mindfulness. Consider one small step that you can take this week to better find that blend. I want to thank you all again for joining me in this two-part presentation talking about the balance between work, life, and technology. We hope you were able to take away some useful tools to help you make the most of your available time. As always, if you ever have any questions about your health and fitness journey, we at the Place for Wellness would love to sit down and have a conversation with you. Thank you.